Dublin's a brand new pair of brogues, rattling o'er the bogs, frightening all the dogs on the rocky road to Dublin. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hook the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin. Whack below ride. In Mullingar that night I rested limbs so weary, starved by daylight. Me spirits bright and airy, took a drop of the pure to keep me heart from sinking. That's the Paddy's cure. Whenever he's on for drinking, to see the lassie smile, laughing all the while, had me curious style. Was such a heart to bubble and asked if I was hired. Wages I required till I was nearly tired of the rocky road to Dublin. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin. Whack the lowly ride. In Dublin next arrived, I thought it such a pity to be so soon deprived of view of that fine city. So then I took a stroll on among the quality bundle. It was full all in the neat locality. Something crossed me mind when I looked behind. A bundle I could find upon me stick. I wanna cry when for the road sent me Connacht Broad. Wasn't much in vogue on the rocky road to Dublin. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hook the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin. Whack the lowly ride. From there I got away, me spirits never failing, landed on the quay just as the ship was sailing. The captain at me roared, said that no room had he, but when I jumped the bill, Paddy down among the pigs, played some hearty jigs, danced some funny tricks, the walked around me bubbling when off Holyhead, wished myself right dead, I got a bar instead on the rocky road to Dublin. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold the hare and turn her down the rocky road, the way to Dublin. Whack the lowly ride. And boys at Liverpool, when we had safely landed, called myself a fool. I could no longer stand it. Blood began to boil. Temper I was losing. Poor old Aaron's style, they began abusing. My soul says I'm a shillelagh. I let fly some Galway boys were nigh and saw that I was hobbling with a loud hooray. We quickly cleared the way when we joined the fray on the rocky road to Dublin. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hook the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin. Whack the lowly ride. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hook the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin. Whack the lowly ride. What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming out here today. I know the weather is not quite as hairy as it was yesterday. It was very stormy and cloudy and very Celtic, but it is still a little chilly, so I'm glad you're all here. Come up next to my very realistic-looking fire here and warm yourselves. Yep, fire courtesy of Amazon.com. I am Zach Briggs, your local shepherd and storyteller. Clap for me while I catch my breath. Thank you. Thank you. And this is my loyal companion here, Shortbread. Everyone say hi, Shortbread. Hi, Shortbread. Shortbread, say hi to the people. Yeah, you said hi. Yeah, that's all right. Now, most shepherds, they have a sheepdog. I have a sheep. He kind of likes the power trip of ordering his fellow sheep around the hills. And, you know, he knows these hills better than anybody else. So I've got the storytelling and the singing down, and Shortbread here's got the geography down. Plus, I'm Scottish, so those of you that have the Scottish blood in you, you know that you don't like to spend money, right? So I bought my sheep here on the cheap. That joke was kind of bad, wasn't it? All right. You know what? Fair enough. Well, I think, just because it's kind of a chilly day and it's been a long time since we've been able to gather together in something like this, I think we should all get together around the fire and have ourselves a real Celtic campfire. Does that sound good? Let me hear you say aye. Aye. Well, that sounds good to me. I think we should start off this Celtic campfire with a spooky ghost story. Because what campfire would be complete? What Irish Celtic campfire would be complete without a spooky ghost story. And this is a very scary story. No, it's not as scary as what might be showing under my kilt right now, but it is quite scary nonetheless. Speaking of which, I am wearing bike shorts, so moms, it's okay, it's a family show. All right, anyway. A long time ago, in County Kerry, Ireland, because that's the only county I can think of right now in the moment, there was a man, and he was in love with a strange and mysterious woman who always wore a black velvet band tied around her neck. Well, one day, the man decided to ask her for her hand in marriage and said, "Woman, will you please marry me?" And she said, "Okay." So they got married, all right? And that wedding night, the man decided to take the black velvet band from off her neck. And as he began to do so, she stopped him and said, "Don't you dare take the black velvet band from off me neck." And the husband said, "Okay, boundaries, understood, not a problem." So many years went by. 37, we'll say. 37, yeah, 38 years went by, okay, and then finally, they had a good marriage, they had a good life, they watched Netflix every night, but the curiosity of the man became insatiable about the black velvet band, and finally, he couldn't take it any longer, and one night, he snuck up on his wife as she lay sleeping, and unraveled that black velvet band from around her neck, loop by loop, until suddenly her head rolled off her shoulders onto the floor, looked up at the husband, who was absolutely shocked in terror, and the head said, "Well, you just gonna stand there, or you gonna make us breakfast?" Hey, I didn't write it. In the Celtic nations, those of us that have, Welsh blood, or Irish, or Scottish, or Cornish, or any of those southern Celtic nations, we know that sometimes humor and sometimes ghost stories, they don't have to be mutually exclusive, right? In fact, that story reminds me of one of my favorite songs that I bet you all know, and I want you to help me sing along, because it's a campfire, right? We're not going to do Kumbaya, though. We're going to do Celtic stuff, and I think we should sing the one about that woman herself. Let's sing Black Velvet Band. So, teach everyone the chorus real quick here, just a refresher chorus. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds. I'm going to look at it too there, yeah, okay. I thought her the queen of the land, and her hair, it hung over her shoulder, tied up with the black velvet band. Or if you're going with the ghost story, and her head, it was attached to her shoulders, apparently because of a black velvet band. All right, so those are the words. Sing along with me as the chorus comes up. I promise you'll have some fun. In a neat little town they call Belfast, apprenticed to trade I was found, and many an hour sweet happiness had I spent in that neat little town. And a sad misfortune o'ercame me, which caused me to stray from the land, far away from my home and relations, betrayed by the black velvet band. Everyone, her eyes, they shone like diamonds. I thought her the queen of the land, and her hair, it hung over her shoulder, tied up with the black velvet band. Nice! I took a stroll down Broadway, meaning not long to stay, when who should I meet but this pretty fair maid, chasing along the highway. She was both fair and handsome, and her neck, it was swan like and grand, and her hair, it hung over her shoulders, tied up with the black velvet band. Let me hear ya! Her eyes, they shone like diamonds. Oh, you sound like angels. Thought her the queen of the land. And her hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. Nice! So come all you jolly young fellows, a warning take by me. When you're out on the town, me lads, beware of those pretty colleens. They'll feed you with strong drink, my lads, till you are unable to stand. Many of you know what I'm talking about. And the very first thing that you'll know is you've landed in Van Diemen's Land. One more time! Her eyes, they shone like diamonds. I thought her the queen of the land. And her hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. Give yourselves a round of applause. That was fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, folks. You know, yesterday we had that epic rainstorm that kind of kicked everything off there, and I would like to try out a spell that a local wizard taught me yesterday and see if we can make that same rainstorm happen right here in this tent. So I know you're all about to get soaking wet, especially up here in the splash zone or whatever, and I do apologize for that, but let's try it out anyway. Just a little Celtic magic, see how it goes. So every good rainstorm, whether it's Florida, Scotland, or Ireland, starts out with the wind. So I want to hear everyone make the wind noise by rubbing. Yeah, actually that's good. Rub your hands together and you can make a slight. Not a big shh, not like you're shushing your little brother, but like a little. There you go. Yeah. You can hear the wind. You can hear the band on the other stage, or at least you can just hear the bass player. Good, okay, now that wind starts to turn into just a few raindrops. I know it's kind of hard to snap when it's cold, but you guys are doing good, yeah, so. And then those snaps get a little more intense as the rain picks up, right? And then pretty soon, you start to really hear the rain. I want to hear you guys giving me a big drops on the tin roof if you're down here in the south, or a thatch roof if you're up there in the Highlands, or whatever kind of roof you've got. Good. The cats and dogs are raining down. It's really coming down. Okay, but then it stops and goes back to the drops again. It starts to dissipate. Nice. Good. And then back to the rain. Good job! You did it! You made a Celtic rainstorm! My favorite part of that is screaming in your face at the end. I love doing that. That was fun. You know, the best place to take shelter from a rainstorm like that, especially if you're in the Celtic nations, is a pub. Am I right? Come on, folks. You guys know why you're here. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of us who are Celtic, Scottish, Irish, we don't even care if the pub is closed or on fire or closed and on fire, which is the case of this next story. If you've ever heard of it, it's about one of my favorite pubs in Ireland that did burn down, but I did get to see its epic last stand. This story is called The Old Dun Cow. Some friends of mine in a public house were playing dominoes one night. When into the pub a fireman came, his face all chalky white. "What's up," says Brown, "have you seen a ghost? Have you seen your Aunt Mariah?" "Oh, me Aunt Mariah be buggered," says he. "The bleeding pub's on fire." "Well, now," says Brown, what a bit of luck, cried he. "And it's off to the cellar, if the fire's not there, we'll have a grand old spree." So we went down after good old Brown, and the booze we couldn't miss. And we hadn't been there 10 minutes or more, till we were all quite pissed. Don't worry, kids, it means drunk. Actually, that's not okay for kids either, so forget I said any of that. And there was Brown, upside down, whopping up the whiskey on the floor. Everybody singing, "Booze, booze," the firemen cried as they came knocking at the door. Don't let him in till it's all drunk up. Somebody shouted McIntyre.
McIntyre!
Oh, you can do better than that. Somebody shouted McIntyre. And we all got blue, blind, paralytic, drunk when the old dun cow caught fire. So Johnson walks to the port wine tub, then he gives it 2 hard knocks. Then he starts in, taking off his pantaloons, likewise his shoes and socks. Well, now says Stokes, if you want to wash your feet, we've got some bad ale here. Don't go sticking your trotters in the port wine tub when we've got some old stale beer. Then, all at once, a big loud crack, and half the bleeding roof gave way. But we were drowned in the fireman's hose, and we were still somehow okay. So we got some sacks and some old tin tacks, and we locked ourselves inside, and we sat around drinking some fine old scotch till we were bleary-eyed. Some of you are already there. I guess it's 4 o'clock in Scotland. And there was Brown upside down, whopping up the whiskey on the floor. Everybody sing booze, booze. The firemen cried as they came knocking at the door. Don't let him in till it's all drunk up. Somebody shouted McIntyre.
McIntyre!
You guys are so good. And we all got blue, blind, paralytic, drunk when the old dung cow caught fire. And there was Brown upside down, whopping up the whiskey on the floor. Everybody sing booze, booze. The firemen cried as they came knocking at the door. Don't let them in till it's all drunk up. Somebody shouted McIntyre. And we all got blue, blind, paralytic, drunk when the old dung cow caught fire. Thank you. Appreciate that a lot, folks. Now, you know why the Old Dun Cow was my favorite pub before it burned down? It's because it's the only place I know of, actually, that served my favorite drink, which is, well, it's kind of the Irish version of Love Potion number 9, if I'm being totally honest. How many of you have ever had Johnny Jump Up before? That's what we call it. It's kind of Irish moonshine. You have? How old are you? You may have a problem. All right, well, for the adults in the audience, this is a great song. Like I said, it's a little bluesy on the Irish side as well. So we'll mix up some blues and some Irish and see where we go with this one. But it's a fun song about a drink that probably never should have been invented. I'll tell you a story that happened to me one day as I went down by the Yogo Sea. The sun was hot and the day was warm, and I said an old pint won't do me no harm. I went to the barman and stout, and the barman said, I'm sorry, but the beer is sold out. Try whiskey or patty, 10 years in the wood. Said, I'll try the cider, I heard that it's good. Oh, never, never, never forgive me if I live to be 100 or 110. I went to the floor and I couldn't get up after drinking up a pint of that Johnny Jump Up. After drinking a quart, I went out to the yard. Well, I met up with Brody, the big local guy. Come here to me, boy, don't you know I'm the law? So I jumped up on the corner and I kissed his jaw. We fell to the floor and we couldn't get up, but it wasn't me that did, it was the Johnny Jump Up. And the next thing I know, when I met my sea was a woman and the crutches, and he said to me, oh, never, never, never forgive me if I live to be 100 or 110. Well, I went to the floor and I couldn't get up after drinking up a pint of that Johnny Jump Up. I'm afraid for my life, I'll get hit by a car. Won't you help me across to the railway yard? After drinking a pint of the cedar so sweet, well, a man in the fire, well, he answered the speed. Oh, a Union man died by the name of McNabb. They washed him and they shaved him and they put him on the slab. And at the undertaker measured his take. His wife took him home for a mighty nice wake. Oh, never, never, never forgive me if I live to be 100 or 110. Well, appreciate that, folks. That's a lot of fun. Now, I'm also of the strong opinion that we Celts, we invented whiskey, which I think we can take credit for, but we invented it as a cure for our horrible food that we also invented. It's a way to choke down that Celtic cuisine. In fact, raise your hand if you've ever had what is, collectively known as food. It's known in other circles as what's called a haggis. Raise your hand. Okay, quite a few have endured that trial. My grandparents used to make haggis all the time, and I had to endure that quite a bit. And I have a theory about where haggis comes from. And I'd like to tell you about that right now. When I'm at the Highland Games or a Rennie Fair, the first thing that I notice is the smell that's in the air. Oh yes, the food is half the fun, but the menu will attest until you see the haggis and suppress your gag reflex. I like sticky toffee pudding when you kick it up a notch. I'll even eat the marmalade or drink the smoky scotch. But honesty and truth is what this song is all about. And a haggis is a sheep turned inside out. Shortbread looks terrified. All right, we'll keep going. Invented by a Scotsman in the good old days of yore, drunker than a skunk while a-hacking on the moor, tooting on his oboe, just before he took a nap. He came across a dead sheep and he said, "What the crap?" To revive Mr. Sheepy, he began some CPR. He put his mouth on its mouth that was slightly hanging ajar. And because he was buzzed, he stuck his oboe in the rear and sat on the inflated sheep just in time to hear this noise. History will honor him and no longer debate it, 'cause a bagpipe is what he inadvertently created. And like a frugal Scotsman who always knows what's best, he mixed a little oatmeal in, and well, you know the rest. I like sticky toffee pudding when you kick it up a notch. I'll even eat the funnel cake or drink a smoky scotch. But let's be real for a minute, 'cause of this I have no doubt that a haggis is a sheep turned inside out. Or for our Canadian friends, haggis is a sheep turned inside out. Celtic cuisine is a crime, it would seem, a crime that could have been prevented. This culinary fear is reality, my dears, but that's why whiskey was invented. Woo! Grandma's haggis wasn't bad, in fact it was the bomb. In reality, I love it, and that's why I wrote this song. So don't knock it till you try it. Use a fork if you do, 'cause if you don't like it, well then, fork you. Try it with me. If you don't like it, everyone, fork you. I love watching kids say that. That's my favorite thing. I like sticky toffee pudding when you kick it up a notch. I'll even eat the marmalade or drink the smoky scotch. But I can't stand this meatloaf cousin of the Brussels sprout, because a haggis is a sheep turned inside out. I say let's call a spade a spade. In fact, I wanna hear you shout that a haggis is a sheep turned inside out. That a haggis is a sheep turned inside out. Ole! Well, thank you for that, folks. Shortbread does look a little on the terrified side. He seems to be totally immobilized by fear here, actually. This is not great. I've never seen shortbread. Doesn't want to be turned inside out. You know, we're going to put shortbread near the fire to warm him up a bit here. And I know shepherds aren't supposed to grab their sheep this way, but we're just going to go with it. And I think we should sing a lullaby for shortbread to kind of calm him down, you know? He gets anxiety here. All right, SB, we're going to sing a lullaby. Let's do one that everyone knows. Let's do this one. Let's do Tooralooraloora. Tooralooralai. Some of you know it. I love it. Tooralooraloora. Hush now, don't you cry. Tooralooraloora. I think it's working. Tooralooralai. He's already looking happier. Tooralooraloora. It's an Irish lullaby. Guys, help me sing this one. Over in Killarney, many years ago, my mother sang this song to me in tones so soft and low. Just a simple Irish ditty in her good old Irish way. And I would give the world if I could hear her voice today. Help me out. Tooralooraloora. It's an Irish lullaby. Just sing the last line and see if we can get him to sleep. It's an Irish lullaby. Yay! He's asleep! Thanks, folks. Thank you so much for coming out. My name is Zach. It's been a pleasure having you. Make sure you stick around for Captain Mayhem coming up next, Pirate Magician Extraordinaire. And if you want to chat with me later, I am going to be somewhere else.
Celtic Campfire with Briggs. For more information on Celtic stories,